An absolutely incredible weekend stacked with professional wrestling. It will culminate with a one of a kind, first time ever historic crossover event as New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom Wonderworld Ring come together in Ariake, headlined by crowning the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. And that's what we're going to discuss here tonight. So, hello, everybody who watched this on live or on demand. You know what this is. Fry on the Cement. My name is Noah Foster, and welcome to. It's been a while since I've done one of these for these companies. A simple take and preview on this very special, one of a kind pay per view. New Japan Pro Wrestling Stardom's historic crossover. This, of course, is available separately on NJPW for a pay per view purchase, which of course I have purchased. And without further ado, I'm just going to simply run through my simple takeaways and thoughts and predictions on this card, too. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. So, the first match I see right here is a battle as old as New Japan Pro Wrestling itself, as the Battle of Pride between the young lions of two different kinds. The LA Dojo and the Fale Dojo, New Japan Dojo, go at it in 10-team action. The biggest takeaway here is that for the first time out of this group of 8, we will see Oscar Luebe make his debut, his NJPW debut, currently coming from Germany. So I'm curious how he coexists with Kosei Fujita and Ryo Owa. Of course, we recently know those two young lions. They were working with Zack Sabre Jr., making sure Evil would not be involved in Wrestle Kingdom. Thank goodness. For me though, I look at, of course, the pride of the LA Dojo, led by Katsura Shibata. You have Kevin Knight, you have Clark Connors, Alex Coughlin, and Gabriel Kidd, and of course, a couple of these people will be involved in the World Tag League that is literally starting as soon as this preview special is over. So for me, I think about those that need the momentum. I feel like the LA Dojo is going to hurt the pride of NJPW, and I'm actually going to go with the LA Dojo boys here for the win. And for those that don't know, literally following this pay per view, you will also find November 21st, the start of the best of the Super Juniors World Tag League and the main Heavyweight World Tag League, starting on respective days. And for those that are tuning in first time ever, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Let me know your predictions, thoughts, comments, any questions you might have on this show. Also, in the comment section too, I'll be happy to engage with you. So that's my simple takeaways regarding this 8-man tag. I'm very curious what Ska brings. And overall, I feel the biggest threat in this match is definitely the guy now known as Android, Alex Coughlin. So let's see what happens. Next, as we go from there, it is a tradition for Wrestle Kingdom now being brought forward to this pay per view for the women, a Stardom Ramble. For those that don't know, a Ramble goes as follows: it is a field of 15 that comes out in time intervals. Eliminations occur when you are pinned, submitted, or taken over the top rope. With a considerable amount of the Stardom roster in action on the main card, I'm kind of curious who could actually take this for some maybe added leverage and advantage as we head into the continuation of their tag league, the Goddesses, and also, of course, the Queendom card that comes at the end of the year, someone trying to make a name for themselves. And I think about names that could win this. I think maybe, there's people that could work double duty. Lady C shows much promise. Micah has definitely been one that has been a standout this year. Maybe Ami Sarai. I don't know about Gogakin Depth. Plus, I just don't like clowns. Also, Hisuki could be another one, or even Mirai of God's Eye. So that's just a couple of my thoughts on that. But usually these rambles, they do lead to some sort of momentum builder towards somebody's year, as we've seen at Wrestle Kingdom, primarily for, well, 6-man tag team championships in the gauntlet, or for KLPW, freaking Yano, and Chase Owens. He's been crazy too. So I'm curious who could take this opportunity and maybe who could show up that can surprise us and win this thing. But right now, my money's on either Micah surprising us or maybe Hazukai. But again, that's just my brief thoughts on that. Now let's go ahead and get into the main pay-per-view. And for those that don't know, again, this main pay-per-view will be available at NJPW.com, separate pay-per-view purchase. I believe it's 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday morning here in the States. So check your local time slots and see if you can watch this too. It's $25. Let's go ahead and move on to our main card. And at least they're starting off with the worst to get the worst out of the way. 8-man tag team action as Chaos collides with the House of Torture. We have Dick Togo and Show Yujiro Takahashi and Evil taking on Leo Rush and Yo versus Yoshihashi and Tomohiro Ishii. I wonder if this means Leo Rush is officially now a member of Chaos, or is this just maybe a short stint of things going forward? After Leo Rush made his presence known during the Rumble on 44th Street Halloween special and talked about how he and Yo can maybe come together since Sho took his ball to the dark side in the worst way, and maybe they could be a stand on the Super Junior Tag League. It seems like Leo Rush has been an honorary member now of Chaos, which is good because they need to increase their numbers. Tomohiro Ishii, of course, he's been battling all up and down this freaking country. Most recently, of course, I remember him facing the Kings at the AWL Out 0 Hour. Yoshihashi, prideful, heartful as always. And I'm sure that he and Ishii, they're looking to make a big impact before the end of this year, before the road to Tokyo Dome. Considering that neither Tomohiro Ishii or well, I say that about Yoshihashi is, of course, with Goto, but Tomohiro is not involved at all in the tag league. Toru Yano now is tagging with Hiroshi Tanahashi, which I find kind of interesting. But this match right here, it leads me to believe this has to be a momentum build. And we're going to see for the first time how Yo and Leo Rush coexist to get on the same team. I feel it's a preview of good things to come, so I'm going to think that King Chaos goes in here with momentum. Plus, I never, ever think that the House of Torture should win, even though by repetitive shenanigans, they do sometimes find a way to win, and I hate that. But I'm going with Chaos here. As we move on from there, the action continues now with an all Stardom showcase, as Stardom is again its own world of faction warfare, as Queen's Quest Lady C, Asume, and Saya Kamitani collide with Donna de Mundo, Women of the World. Of course, I'm talking about Mai Sakurai, Thekla, and Himeka. So there's a couple of interesting things here. Of course, with Stardom, who always does this like roulette, random shake things up, crossover type tag team affairs. We've seen that, of course, at Wrestle Kingdom, for example, and Grand Slam in the Tokyo Dome. The interesting thing about this is that the unlikely duo, My Fair Lady, is the pairing of Lady C and Mai Sakurai, two opposites of opposite factions. And so far, they have not really been able to get on the same page. You could tell from the Goddess of Stardom tag scores. But with that being said, Saya Kamitani, of course, the holder of the white belt, the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Asume is the holder of the high speed belt. Thekla is a previous SWA champion, Stardom Association champion. And Himeka, I'm sure she has eyes on the prize as well. So why there's always that idea of superiority in the faction you represent, there's definitely pride with both the champions here. And Saya, for all we know, may not be coming in here as champion because before this event, at Gold Rush, what a fitting name, Saya Kamitani would defend the white belt against Kairi, who will be in the main event of this pay-per-view that we'll get to later on. For me, I feel there's going to be more fallout with Mai and Lady C. Lady C, of course, who joins Queen's Quest just this year, which really surprised me, but she's made a lot of name for herself so far and definitely done the most with it. Asume, again, the high-speed champion. She is currently right now on her, let me get this right, 8th defense, just waiting to see right now. Surpassed her previous reign of 4 defenses. She is a 2-time high-speed champion. I'm curious if somebody from Donna de Mundo might garner some favor and maybe try and challenge her. Maybe Thekla. But for me, considering that this is right after Saya versus Kairi, and Saya right now, beautiful Phoenix Splash, and she has a lot of stock going for her between both Stardom and New Japan Pro Wrestling, I think that Queen's Quest is going to get the win here. So I'm going to go with the trio on the left, Queen's Quest. Now, for me, this is the most emotional, story-driven match on this card for so many reasons. As you see before you, the current World of Stardom champion, Sarai, teaming with Filthy Tom Lawyer, a incredible inaugural strong openweight champion for NJPW Strong. They go up against Julia and Zack Sabre Jr. So, of course, Tom Lawler and Zack Sabre Jr., they've had their beefs and tag team matches, but they never really faced each other one-on-one, but it seems like they enjoy challenging each other technically. Surprise, surprise. And also getting on Zack Sabre Jr.'s case about George Michael. Got that, the faith. But the thing about this here is definitely Gilead and Sarai. I want to give a shout out, by the way, to Karen, who posted an incredible article on NJPW1970.com headlining the history of these two, as Julia came into Stardom to establish itself, but also the faction Donna del Mundo, Women of the World, a combination of bright, young, promising, incredible professional wrestlers all across the planet with so much promise to become a main focal point. And she has been able to do that. She has been able to claim the SWA Championship, the Artists of Stardom Championship, which of course they're trios styles, and even previously was Tag Team Championship. Her and Sarai started off in the same faction. They even were together at Wrestle Kingdom in a dark match. However, Julia being a two-time now five-star Grand Prix winner, the first time she won, she fell short in claiming the key belt, the red belt. And unfortunately, the second time around, injuries occurred. Siri came into play. Basically, to sum it all up, Siri, she won the five-star Grand Prix. She went on and beat the most predominant female professional wrestler of 2021, in my opinion, Utami Hayashia, which I will talk about later, for the red belt, and has been an incredible champion since, holding it now for 323 days, currently with 9 successful defenses, most recently over Micah, which we will talk about later. She is up there with the work that the likes of Io Shirai did with this belt in a single reign and very well could surpass it. However, it was that sort of cloak of invincibility and confidence that Siri wanted to go out on her own and create her own faction. And thus, God's Eye, Women Chosen by God, Warriors Chosen by God, I believe it's called, became a thing. And since then, she has been, again, a phenomenal defending champion, including beating Utami Hashia in a rematch earlier this year in March. Now, Gilia and Sarai finally face each other one on one in what feels like a match practically a year in the making. And with all the emotional turmoil of people leaving, people betraying, people coming in, though, so the faction always grows, of course, as she was out with injury. Thekla, and they've also became part of the faction as well. Apologize if I screw up the names. But for me here, this comes down to two things. Also, conquer her past from a prominence with a 5-member hardcore deathmatch group. This comes down to if Siri can once again overcome Utami the day before. Because right now, for the final card of Stardom this year, this is the match that both respectively won. And Julia believes that she needs this to truly move forward and bury the past. This match, moreover, feels like Siri and Julia, pause again, I screw those names, folks, really giving a preview. And once again, you know, reminding each other what they are. A lot of personal turmoil here, but in my opinion, this is Julia's year. And this match right here, it might be that last bit of confidence and clarity to absolutely clear any uncertainty that she may have ahead of December. I'm really torn about this, but if it comes down to the women, I think Julia should win. If it comes down to the men, I can see Philly Tom Lawler getting the better Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. has already claimed his spot at Wrestle Kingdom. He will be one of 2 men fighting for the inaugural right to be known as NJPW World Television Champion against the Son of Strong Style, Red Narita. So, with that being said, I'm looking very forward to this match. Probably the top 3 of the matches on this card. But I think here I'm going to go with, because again, Suzuki Gun for life, I got to go with Glee and Zack Sabre Jr. Italian, Japanese, British born, and British born strong style, long lived Sabreism, as you were. But this is going to be a very fun match to say the least. And for those that don't know, yes, it's mixed tag. Women fight women, men fight with men. Now, will it stay that way? In this match, there might be a little bit more decorum. In this next one, probably not, because we know Suzuki-gun, they're not afraid to fight dirty. As we have the current Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, Muta, Tam Nakano, and Natsupoi, and Suzuki-gun's Taiji and Yoshinobu Kawamaro. What an interesting setup of a duo that is. Taking on Black Desire, Starlight Kid and Momo Watanabe, and Suzuki-gun's El Desperado and Ukai. And more so here, people are looking at probably El Desperado and Starlight Kid maybe becoming more of a longer term thing as these two have kind of trailblazed their own path. JJ Williams, good to see you. I look forward to talking Full Gear tomorrow and also calling stuff with you this weekend too. Stay tuned, folks, over Might Night. Follow Cast the 18 Studios right here on YouTube. As I look at probably a show he knows nothing about, but that's okay. So the thing right now is the Goddesses Tag League is going on as we speak. And right now, the tag champs don't have the strongest score. Surprise, surprise. Meanwhile, I feel like right now, Black Desire is almost at the bottom of the list. And of course, Black Desire were the previous tag team champions before Tam and Natsupoi took it off them and successfully retained it in a rematch. And we have seen now El Desperado, Grito Khan, all hail, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru present championships at Stardom as well. It's kind of part of the reason that Starlight Kids and Kurt Phil Desperado kind of like goes one in hand with each other. For me here, though, they're used to, fighting everyone else, but they're not afraid to fight each other either. But Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Taiji, not the duo I usually think about, because I think moreover about Dukai and Taiji and Desperado Yoshinobu Kanemaru. That just feels more normal to me. Both of them right now, they definitely are trained together for some synergy. And this is going to be an interesting 8-person affair. But I feel like Suzuki Gun is going to cause chaos throughout this match, pun intended. And everyone's just going to melee with each other. The only thing I got to just say is Dukai's got the pipe. Momotame's got the screwdriver. Who's more dangerous? But this should be a fun match, and I feel like right now Black Desire needs to try and build some momentum to maybe try and go after the tag team champions again. So I'm going to say that El Desperado and Dukai get the win. Plus, El Desperado, he will be involved in Wrestle Kingdom in a fatal 4-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So he's already got basically his rest of his year set up. So we'll see what happens. Suzuki going for life, by the way. That is my faction for those that don't know in New Japan Pro Wrestling. All right. As we move on from there, we go to a star-studded showcase match as we have the ace in New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, teaming with Utami Hayashiyata, as I discussed earlier, taking on the duo of Maika and Hiroki Goto. It is basically Hontai and Queen's Quest versus DDM and Chaos. But it's also a couple of different ideologies. While Hiroshi Tanahashi has been basically the wrestler of the century, once in a century type talent, he also exhibits the model of master talent known as Susai. Apologies if I screwed that up. But also, despite the fact that Utami is 24 years old, only 4 years of her career, after her phenomenal 2021, she has also doctrined that name as well. She is also a former SWA champion. So this one-of-a-kind, truly capable, incredible, powerful mixed duo takes on bitter rivals in their own right that also have a lot of pride. Hiroki Goto finally getting his win over the Ace during the G1. Micah and Atama, they've had their fair shares, and Micah just coming short of the red belt, most recently against Siri, but again, shows so much promise, and honestly might be the strongest pound-for-pound wrestler in Stardom. That being said, Micah and Hiroki Goto, they are grounded. They are more founded on no nonsense. They believe in history and respect Japanese tradition and heritage, whether it's their entrance, presentation, or their in-ring style. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Utami, they believe in bringing out the absolute best in their opponent, but also leaving it all out there on the line. And for those that don't know, Utami had a pretty rough early going the earlier half of this year. I'm glad to see she's in a better state of mind, physically and mentally. So I'm really looking forward to this. You could almost say that Hiroshi and Utami, they're kind of the faces of Stardom in this generation to a degree. And I'm very curious how the two work together. I also know Hiroshi, he definitely wants to get his win back from the G1. And of course, they are in different teams in the World Tag League that's ahead. Freaking Yano, what are you thinking, Tanahashi? That being said, Utami, of course, she also might be coming in here once again as the World of Stardom champion. So that might lead a bit more to think about here. Because again, before this, she gets her rematch for the red belt after being the champion during the 5-Star Grand Prix, which honestly might be the last obstacle for Siri to maybe become the best World of Stardom champion in the longest time, it seems, is Io Shirai. I feel like here that Tanahashi and Utami are going to get the win here. Micah still has much more to prove and grow. She's definitely going to show out. She was previously involved in Grand Slam at the Tokyo Dome. But right now, you just don't bet against the ace. So I'm going with Tanahashi for the win here. And what it leads to, maybe another bitter confrontation outside the World Tag League with Tanahashi and Goto as well, remains to be seen. But again, this is going to be a wild tag affair, to say the least. As we move on from there, the chaotic action continues in 10-man tag when you think about the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, the Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and Naito trying to find his spot at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm, of course, referring to Los Ingobernables de Japón and the newest member, Titan, taking on the United Empire. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis have already made it be known that they want to go to Wrestle Kingdom and challenge FTR for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, a rematch from Royal Quest Day 1. If you didn't go see it, go see it. Absolutely incredible affair. One of the best tag team matches this year. Shigeru Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, I mean, they go all the way back to high school. It surprises me that they're not together in the tag league. Once again, Tetsuya Naito is with Sonata, and they are former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Bushi and T-Time recently challenged TJP and Francisco Akira for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Came up short, but now we'll see if they can maybe garner another chance by accomplishing and winning the Super Juniors Tag League. But that still remains to be seen. I'm betting right now on Ace Austin, Chris Bay, or Leah Rush and Yo. That's just me. But as far as this match goes, I think about this. Gideon Gray, he is the oddball here. Bushi's the fall guy for LIJ. Gideon Gray proves a point, gets knocked out. He falls, and we get Tranquilo. But I feel right now, after Tetsuya Naito came up short against Will Ospreay back at on a battle for the IWGP United States Championship, that Tetsuya Naito needs some sort of rebound. So I'm actually going to go with LIJ for the win here. And Gideon Gray probably will be the fall guy. Not much more to say. It's a 10-man melee. It's simple as that. It's not even elimination. But we'll see who gets protected in defeat or whose ego is bruised. As we move on from there, it is a Legends last match in freaking New Japan Pro Wrestling. My boy TJP, TJ Perkins, Puma, Manic Suicide. Yeah, that's right. He is one half of the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championships, and he will defend that title at Wrestle Kingdom against the winner of this year's Super Junior Tag League. But let's go ahead and talk about another legend in their own right. The Great Muta, Kaiji Muto, put whatever name you want. He's been across everywhere. New Japan Pro Wrestling Noah. He was involved at G1 Supercard. He has a name synonymous with pro wrestling. He is on his last run, and now he has his final match in New Japan Pro Wrestling this coming weekend as he teams with someone that is very synonymous with his past, apparently. Toru Yano and the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, who, of course, will be in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom next year. They take on United Empire's Greto Khan Hill, Aaron Henare, and Jeff Cobb. After the bitter defeat that Jeff Cobb and Greto Khan Hill had against FTR for the heavyweight IWGP Tag Team Championships, it was Aaron Henare that picked Great Khan back up and re-encouraged him that we keep fighting. Don't hold yourself down. And of course, those two will be together in this year's World Tag League. But the story here is definitely Great Muta. All right. So apparently Muta goes all the way back to 2014, where it seems like he loves to pick a fight with everybody else, but come to the defense of Yano. So I guess he and Yano must really go back way, way deep. And so far, Great Khan, he has been at the blunt of that twice, aka the Mist. As Great Khan has now been misted twice this year by Great Muta. So Great Khan right now comes in here looking for some brutal revenge and maybe humbling a legend on the verge of retirement. As we know, Great Muta, he will also be involved with Sting and Shinsuke Nakamura, as again, this is his final run. But for me, I feel like, again, how do you go against the Great freaking Muta and Kazuchika Okada? It just comes down to, can Great Khan avoid being misted in the face? Yeah, I know, right? Who would have thought you would see Muta and Okada on the same damn team? Crazier things have happened in 2022, it seems. A guy hell-bent on revenge, and a legend humbled to be a part of this event. That's basically the story of this match. And yeah, Toru Yano's in the tag league as well, but he's with Tanahashi. Still don't understand that team. So with the main event of Wrestle Kingdom here, the G1 Climax champion and the legend, you can't bet against that side. You got to go with Great Muta. And let me just say, Great Muta, arigato. Not much more to say about that, but if anyone has any memories or thoughts on the Great Muta, speak now, forever hold your peace. Love to hear it. And again, I don't follow much pro wrestling. No, I don't have time to. Yeah, I know, right? Because I watch all sorts of things wrestling, but not everything, because everything's impossible. Shout out to my friend Elizabeth Sandy, diehard fan, diehard follower of Pro Wrestling Noah. She can definitely educate you better on Noah and the history of Muta there than I can. But of course, we've seen how Pro Wrestling Noah and New Japan Pro Wrestling, they had the crossover event the beginning of this year at Wrestle Kingdom. And yeah, it was mostly just tag team showcase, but there was still some cool stuff there too. And we even had Kaiji Muto and Okada. So there you go. They just weren't in the same match. I still can't believe that didn't have that singles match. Sad, sad. Missed opportunity, in my opinion. But, what do I know? As we move on from there, Will Ospreay, the IWGP United States champion, defends the gold against challenger Roughneck Shota Umino, and this will be their third singles encounter. Shota Umino, originally on excursion in Rev Pro long time ago, faced Will Ospreay for the Rev Pro Heavyweight Championship, came up short. Most recently, there was an exhibition at Royal Quest 2 where his father, Red Shoes Umino, stopped the match because I guess Will Ospreay was on a relentless assault, and his son, or excuse me, Will Ospreay's opponent couldn't respond to the ref. So, in the name of safety, the ref stopped the match. Will Ospreay, right now, he has defended the IWGP United States Championship most recently successfully against David Finlay at the expense of a broken hand and a shillelagh. Oi, ouch. Since then, Will Ospreay has been trying to make this title as important as the IWGP Intercontinental Championship was. And honestly, I wish that title was still a thing. So if this can be the placeholder that brings that level of prestige and competition opportunity, I'll take it. For me here, though, I figure about this. Will Ospreay, he has this bitter chip on his shoulder. He carries with him all the time for life. He feels like he needs to be the guy that outshines, outperforms, and outgoes further than anyone else in the industry. With rumor has it that people think, oh, he might face Kenny Omega potentially for the United States Championship. Will that maybe come back around? Will Katsuyori Shibata maybe make his intention be known after this title? Could we see Orange Cassidy at some point go after it again? Yes, this is what I've heard from friends that I know. For right now, I feel like Will Ospreay is the name on the marquee you want to see at Wrestle Kingdom coming in with the championship. And I feel he is going to defend it at Wrestle Kingdom in one of a kind match that I can't wait for. I think Will Ospreay will retain. All the wrestling you watch and you don't watch promotion that literally has your name in the title. Hey man, some things are what they are. Again, also you gotta consider how many subscription services that would be. I think it's like a Bima to watch that or a DD Pro. There's so many different streaming services, and I already got Title Match, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bleacher Report for pay-per-views. But I'll talk more about that later with you. Anyway, back to this. I feel like Will Ospreay is going to retain here, but I feel this time that Shota Umino is going to be able to go further than before, even if Regis Umino is the referee. He made his statement be known, and we'll see how far Redneff can go. But I'm going to go with the Commonwealth Kingpin for now, especially after successful defenders against Tetsuya Naito. Huge fan of Ospreay ever since you introduced me to him earlier this year. Yeah, especially at the Forbidden Door when he took on freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and who knew that would be the sleeper match of the night? Well, a lot of people did. Go figure. Which brings us to the main event of this special crossover pay-per-view in the culmination of a brand new champion and the renewing of a rivalry founded on respect and the strongest spirit of competition too, as they crown the first ever IWGP Women's Champion between Kairi and Mayu Iwatani. So let's go ahead and run this down a little bit when it comes to the legacy of these two. More people are familiar with Kairi here in the States, of course, because of her stint in WWE. And she made a name for herself, definitely furthered her career, even though she was almost permanently injured by a walking work hazard. Sorry, did I say that out loud? And of course, she also was formerly involved in My Black and Gold NXT. But Mayu Iwatani, she has been Stardom since day one in the 11 years of this company's history. What Hiroshi Tanahashi is to New Japan Pro Wrestling during the dark times, Mayu Iwatani represents one of the three daughters of Stardom, the other ones being Io Shirai and, of course, Kairi, who brought Stardom to promise and prosperity under the hottest of times in the early 2010s when you wonder if this company was even going to make it off the ground. These two, of course, have a very similar track record when it comes to the type of championships and accolades they have accomplished. Both former SWA champions, both former World of Stardom champions. I think they're both former high-speed champions to a degree as well. But that being said, Mayu Iwatani, she is 29 years old, 11 years in her phenomenal career. She is known as the icon of Stardom. And most recently, she vacated the SWA championship as such defended against the alpha female, Jazzy Gabbard, and Kylan King, focusing on this to cement herself as truly the icon of Stardom and take this promotion worldwide. She believes she has to win this. After all, she was the one to not only be in the Tokyo Dome, she also was the one to be in Madison Square Garden during G1 Supercard. defending the Women of Honor Championship against Kelly Klein. These two have previously had 5 other singles bouts, and only 2 of them were based on title. The first match goes all the way back to 2012, where Kairi and Mayu, they both exchanged a singles victory over each other. In 2014, Mayu got the best of Kairi. In 2015, Kairi, she had the red belt, and Mayu came up short. In 2017, Mayu became champion, claiming the white belt off of Kairi. So right now, it is 3-2 in favor of the icon, Mayu Iwatani. And again, Kairi is currently facing for the white belt the day before this pay-per-view against Saya Kamatani. So, does Kairi start a legacy as the new Wonder Stardom champion and the IWGP Women's champion? Or does she come up short in both? Does Mayu Iwatani, who vacated the SWA championship, will always have her name synonymous with Stardom? And again, this is their first singles encounter since 2017. Put that in perspective. Or does she create a new chapter in her legacy and in Stardom's history as the first ever IWGP Women's Champion, who will not only probably defend it at Wrestle Kingdom, but of course this title will be showcased here as well across NJPW Strong and NJPW. I'm really torn on this because I have so much respect for both athletes, but I think about the one that has been committed since day one, and I think about the one that could bring them more eyes to the product. And yes, Kat, now you remember, yes, Kabuki Warriors, former women's tag team champion with Asuka. So, gosh, this is really difficult for me. But I think about right now, Mayu Iwatani, she's already had a presentation at the Tokyo Dome on 2 occasions. She was literally involved in that star-studded tag match earlier this year and lost out of it. With her solely being focused just on this and maybe the white belt having a new identity in a former champion, which means Saya can maybe go after the red belt, I think I gotta go with Mayu Iwatani here. It was her that represented Stardom that made it through this tournament, like Kairi. She represented the international side of things, and why she got through one potential eliminator. Mayu Iwatani's been putting in more of the work, and in my opinion, even executive producer Rose Ogawa believes that without the icon of Iwatani, there may not be a Stardom. I feel that Mayu deserves it more. So I'm going to say that the icon trailblazes a brand new path and puts her name in the history books as the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. Now, what does that mean for Kairi? Again, the previous day, fight for the white belt, see what happens. I'm not sure at this point. But again, she's always on a journey or a voyage since she is the pirate princess. Yo ho. But that being said, that is your simple preview predictions for what I believe is going to be a one-of-a-kind, star-studded, historic, memorable NJPW Stardom crossover pay-per-view. And I can't wait for it. And again, if you haven't bought it already, it is available on njpwworld.com. I believe it'll be on 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is $25. You don't need a subscription. It is a separate pay-per-view purchase. It is November 20th, 11 p.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard. Glad I looked that up. And 7 a.m. Grand Meridian time. And again, it is pay-per-view. So all you got to do is simply buy it. It's as simple as that. But what are your thoughts regarding this crossover pay-per-view? Who do you want to see maybe challenge for the IWGP Women's Championship at Wrestle Kingdom? Who should trailblaze a path for the inaugural champion? What is your greatest memories of Great Muta? Should Great Khan, all hell, get his revenge? And who should trailblaze a path in 2023, heading Stardom as the Wonder, the World, the IWGP Women's Championship? How you distinguish the three? What do you believe the perspective, the vision should be? Honestly, it's all about professional wrestling. Damn it. I digress. And really, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So that's all I got to say in this simple preview. And I definitely will have a simple take following this show, too. So stay tuned. So thanks for tuning in. If you want to know more about me, though, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! God bless the goodness, the greatness in this industry, as Jade is already doing my plug for me. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and Foster 1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to the entire ATW family on the Twitter. Tomorrow is going to be a stat day of Sibling Predicting, and courtesy of James Hebert. Expect a new presentation for the intro, anyway. That guy's too creative for his own good. But yes, there will be prediction panels for Impact Overdrive and AEW Full Gear tomorrow night, as well as next week there'll be W Survivor Series, and following December, the last ones will be Bring Up Our Final Battle and NXT Deadline to close out the year of Cinema Predicting on this simple YouTube channel. But again, this weekend, following all three of these great pay-per-views, of course, I'm talking about this incredible Stardom pay-per-view, as well as AEW Full Gear, as well as Overdrive. There will be a simple take triple feature based on all three shows some point Sunday. Now, whether or not I do that live depends if I have a voice, depends if I'm awake enough at church. So stay tuned for more on that. And of course, your opinions matter too. There will be prediction forums for both Impact Overdrive and AW Full Gear going live probably tomorrow on this YouTube channel and across my Twitch too. And if you haven't already, stay tuned for the latest episode of the NoDQ Review right there at nodq.com, right here on YouTube, courtesy of Aaron Riff. Have fun, crew. And that's literally all I got to say tonight, too. But as always, like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. There are just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality, too, and treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in to what I haven't done for a while, NJPW Premium Predictions. Please subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. And yes, I will definitely be back full on with Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe the Queendom card. It depends if I can buy it too. But again, Hit the Bell Field goes live on demand on this YouTube channel. I didn't have time for an AEW Dynamite recap review because, well, my mom's feeding that birthday. Family's more important than professional wrestling. And that wine was pretty good too. Again, hit the bell those videos live on demand on this channel. Subscribe button. Help me keep growing this YouTube community. Shout out to all 255 of this minutes fun. YouTuber greatest journey. It's not live anytime soon. And again, stay tuned this weekend to the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse Media, where me, JJ, James Hebert, Jeff Meacham, and who knows who else will bring you our thoughts, reactions, and takeaways from particularly AEW Full Gear. And I'll be providing you live, watch along, commentary, reactions for both Impact Overdrive and AEW Full Gear 2. With that being said, it is almost time for the review, and it's almost time for Impact Wrestling. So I now leave you and bid you a fine adieu. As always, make a positive impact in life and have a good night. Cook again, yo, and sayonara.